My toxic sister tried to get her manager fired by calling the police and making a false claim about her, as she did this in some delusional desire that she would get promoted to manager if she took out her current manager in some kind of spectacular way. But instead, everything backfired, as she was fired Monday morning on the spot after my manager found out exactly what my sister tried to do. Here's what happened. Okay, to start things out, my sister had to leave my country because of crime. She was a manager in a certain type of industry here, but couldn't get a job in the same industry once she was living in another country because she couldn't get a good industry reference because of crime. Now, my sister loves to read, so she applied for a job in a bookshop. She aced the interview and she was eventually hired. She then shows up Monday morning, meets her new manager, and gets shown around the job. Her new manager is a young woman of about 24 years old, and she's worked in the shop since she was about 16 when she was part-time. She kept working there and was eventually promoted to manager. And this is how it should be with the natural progression of a job. My sister was 32 years old at the time and had been told growing up that because she was the oldest of us kids, she was in charge and more important. But it was really due to the fact that she was a sociopath and acted horrible if she wasn't treated like the only person in the world. But she was always told her prominence was because she was the eldest. So she automatically believed that if she was older than you, she was automatically better than you. So in her head, she's older than the manager, so therefore she should be in charge. On the third day that she worked there, the manager approached my sister and told her that the current part-time worker was turning 18 on Saturday. However, he was going out to dinner with his family on Saturday before meeting his friends in the pub and heading out to the nightclub. Therefore, the shop was bringing him out for drinks on the Friday night after work, and my sister was more than welcome to go. In fact, she really should go, and it would be a great team bonding opportunity. She can meet everybody and everyone can meet her, and they can all be friends together. My sister then said no, sorry, but she already had plans. It was a bit short notice, but she'll definitely go out next time. Well, my sister sat at home drinking vodka that Friday night, and at some point, a plan formed. Drunk out of her mind and dumb as she is, she put her plan into action. In her head, as the eldest, if she can mess up her manager's life and get her fired, then my sister will automatically be made the manager because she's the eldest. And she was once a manager in her own country in a completely different industry. She has no experience in a bookshop, but clearly as the eldest, she deserves to be a manager. So her bright idea was to call the police and report her manager for buying alcohol for a minor. But here's the thing, the drinking age in her new country was 18 years old. The police showed up at about 11:30 p.m. on the Friday night, which is about a half an hour before he turned 18, and there was nothing that anyone could do. The minor was kicked out of the pub for being underage, and nothing else happened to anyone because it was clear that the report itself was vindictive. The police then gave the manager my sister's name and told her that my sister was the one who reported her. Well, fast forward to Monday morning, and my sister was absolutely shocked when she was fired right there on the spot. So truly, my sister is a piece of work, and I seriously don't think that she will ever learn her lesson. Wow, your sister sucks. I'm just gonna say that straight up. You mean to tell me in her mind she really thought she could pull something like this off, even though she's only worked at that place for what, 3 days or something like that? Like seriously, this is so weird. Just because she's older than someone doesn't mean she's more qualified. Like that is really dumb, and you can see the type of person that she really is. She's so vindictive and weird, she would rather ruin someone else's life by lying about them instead of, I don't know, working hard and becoming a manager herself. So yeah, your sister is not the brightest apple in the bunch. She literally tried to ruin someone else's life, all under the delusional assumption that she would take their job. And that, in my opinion, is absolutely toxic. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. Am I the jerk for refusing to change the music at my store? All because some crazy jerk demanded that I do so. Here's what happened. So I work customer service at the local store. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning on the first Saturday of the month, which anyone who shops at a large grocery store should know that it is the busiest day. Anyways, I'm just standing at the counter helping customers who need it, and that's when this big, bulky guy comes in, who is the male Karen of this story. And he is about what you would expect. His hair is blindingly blonde, face covered in wrinkles, even though he's probably only 30 years old. I just think to myself, oh boy, here we go. And I put on my best fake customer service smile. I say to him, "Good morning, what can I help you with?" To which this male Karen responds in probably the rudest tone possible by saying, "I need you to change the music. It is horrible." Now, initially, I'm confused. I don't have any music playing, but then it clicks. He's talking about the store music we play over the loudspeakers. I then say to him, "Sorry, sir, no can do. The music we play here is set in stone. If there's anything I can help you with, that's what I'm here for." Well, you can probably guess how he reacted. Full on rage, yelling and screaming and all this other stuff. Now, I'd been working customer service for the better part of 4 years now, and I knew how to deal with people like this. I say to him, "Sir, I've already informed you we cannot change the music, and now you're holding up the line and causing a scene. So if you don't calm down, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the store." Well, he responds with more screaming. I couldn't make out much, but what I did understand was him basically saying, "So you know who I am? I'm a close friend of the manager, and I demand to be treated like it," or something like that. But I wasn't having any of it. We have a special thing for occasions like this, and it's basically a little microphone that connects to the manager's office. I then say, "Hey, we have a guy here who's saying he knows you. Do you mind coming down and confirming or denying?" I say this over the mic, and the manager comes down, sees this guy screaming at me, and then immediately calls for security to escort him out. I thankfully never saw that guy again, and honestly, I am incredibly happy about that. Oh man, that is so unbelievably embarrassing, it's not even funny. I mean, the fact that this guy was like, "Oh, I know the manager, you need to treat me like it." It's like, are you kidding me? That never works no matter where you go. Like seriously, that is so dumb and annoying. But thankfully, you don't have to deal with this guy anymore, because this guy's behavior was absolutely atrocious. Today, I messed up by grabbing a paper bag to pack my leftover food from a restaurant, thinking that it's provided by the restaurant. But much to my dismay and embarrassment, I actually stole from a lady who was packing her food at the same time. And even though it's just a brown paper bag, I honestly feel so humiliated by this situation. Here's what happened. Okay, so this happened a couple of days ago when I was on a weekend trip. In a national park, there were only a few places to eat, and one of the restaurants had a long waiting time. We're talking 30 minutes or more for a burger and fries. Once I placed the order on the kiosk, I realized they have a backlog for 30 orders just based on the order number alone. I could see the queue moving slowly, so I got busy playing games on my phone while I waited. By the time my order was ready, I couldn't remember if I ordered to go or dine in, as the order receipt had no mention of if it was to go or to dine in. The food pickup counter was managed by a single person as well, so I asked the employee if he could pack them up to go, and he did say something, but I couldn't hear him in all the chaos. I didn't want to be rude and ask again, so I just took my food and decided to quickly finish my burger and grab fries in the burger wrapping paper to make the best of the situation. Now, just as I finished the burger and was about to go, I noticed a family putting food in brown paper bags at the counter where the restaurant puts ketchup, paper napkins, forks, and spoons, etc. Well, I suddenly felt that employee on the food pickup counter must have said something about doing it myself from the counter like this family's doing. Now, there were a couple of brown paper bags on the counter while they were packing their own food, so I grabbed one from the pile, and the lady looked at me with an expression that didn't look happy. I thought she might have felt that I'm not waiting for my turn, but I really just didn't mind it. I packed my fries and then I left the counter. Now, I did feel like something is wrong, but I didn't care and I just walked out of the restaurant. As I was waiting to cross the road to get back to the parking lot, I noticed that family walking out of the restaurant with their food and an extra brown paper bag in the lady's hand. And eureka, that's when I suddenly realized what I had done. Those paper bags were not provided by the restaurant. The woman brought it in for herself and I'm just grabbing one without even realizing it. Luckily, there was only one way to get to the parking lot, so I waited for them to catch up with me. I sincerely apologized to the lady and I explained my mistake. Now, this nice lady said that it's okay and not to worry. I then thanked them and I walked back to my car. I got inside and then I ate my fries, dipped in complete embarrassment, because this really will be a situation that I won't be living down anytime soon. Oh man, that really is super embarrassing. First of all, the restaurant really should have some kind of bag that you can use to like pack up all your stuff, because that really is super annoying. But also, I don't think it's completely out of the ordinary that you would think, oh yeah, these brown paper bags must be for customers, right? Like, yeah, it's a bit weird that she would bring in her own paper bags to this restaurant, but I guess if she has a family, then maybe she was like planning ahead. But it's like, wait a second, that's such a weird thing to plan for. But thankfully, she didn't really care that much, because if this lady was some other psychopath, then this could have ended very poorly. My ex-boyfriend cheated on me and then dumped me, picking some woman he met online over me. So I decided to get some petty revenge by spamming him with emails in a way that he truly will never forget. Here's what happened. Okay, so a few years ago, I dated a guy for almost 2 years. For context, we started dating when I was 18 and he was 24. And whatever opinions you're forming about this guy, you're probably correct. Now, we broke up because he cheated on me with a girl that he met through a video game. He flew her down to visit days after I moved out. Mind you, I did not do the math that he had cheated until later, and he played the breakup off like he was setting me free. I mean, this guy was an absolute loser. Anyways, less than a year after the breakup, I started getting emails from Zillow notifying me that he was liking houses from a neighboring state. For those that don't know, Zillow has or had a feature where you can shop houses and then your roommates can compare notes. And I found this especially interesting with what I did next. At first, I was just going to sever the connection emotion and move on, but this was a prime opportunity. I then spent the next 2 weeks liking extravagant and expensive houses in Denver, Colorado, knowing that he was getting the same emails. And then at the 2-week mark, I deleted him from my account. Now, I had spent the next couple of years just assuming it maybe at least bugged him, but I chatted with a mutual friend recently who told me that it really bugged him. Now, it may not be true. The mutual knew how awful he was to me, so he may have hammed it up just to make me feel better, but my God, do I feel better, because this guy truly was a piece of work. Wow, I love this kind of revenge because it's petty and incredibly subtle, because you know for a fact this guy was probably inundated with emails and messages all about these stupid houses that he could never afford. And I really love that because it probably threw a wrench in his wheel in a way that he probably was not expecting. So good for you for getting some beautiful revenge, because this guy absolutely deserved it. My friend's entitled ex-boyfriend dumps her out of nowhere after literally discussing their future together and leading her on to believe that they were going to get married. So we decided to get some petty revenge by moving out everything that she owned from their shared apartment, leaving this guy with quite literally nothing to his name. Here's what happened. Several years ago, my best friend was unexpectedly dumped by her boyfriend of 3 years. This man had told her that he loved her, had been talking about marriage, had encouraged her to quit her job and go back to school, and gave every appearance that he wanted to care for her. A couple of weeks after she resigned from her job and applied for her master's degree, he abruptly informed her that he had never loved her and that it was over. We then later found out that he had cheated on her. Now, of course, my friend was blindsided and hysterical, but Hades hath no fury like a woman's support circle. She gathered herself and decided fairly quickly that she would not be able to stay in the apartment with him, and he agreed that she should move out, despite her having nowhere to go and no income. She calls me and a few of her family members to come help her move, and we do so within a 12-hour period while the ex is crashing at his brother's for the day. Well, here's the kicker, of course. As is apparently somewhat typical of men in their younger 20s, this man had not contributed to furnishing this shared apartment. Every stick of furniture down to the mattress belonged to my friend. Every dish, every towel, every piece of decoration, every single appliance, I mean, if you named it, it was hers. So we took it all out. Even the mattress and the shower curtain. We left that man with nothing at all, except for a TV tray, a dog bowl, his Xbox, and a sword, which was the sole bit of decoration he had contributed. My final touch was to throw the wheeled ring under the microwave tray on top of the kitchen cabinets and to leave an onion hidden at the top of the closet. I also had the pleasure of telling this guy off when he tried to reach out after seeing the dog bowl living situation. My friend moved in with me and slept in my dining room for a month while gathering up her life. She now has her master's and is happily engaged. Last we heard of the ex, he was dating someone twice his age, and despite attempting many times, he never became a cop either. But it just goes to show you that good friends should be there for each other, especially when it's hard. Yeah, I love stories like this because this friend absolutely needed your help. Their boyfriend basically betrayed their trust and left them out to dry, and that truly is not fair. So good for you guys for getting some petty revenge against this guy, because he absolutely deserved it. Am I the jerk for telling my boyfriend's friend's fiance that I didn't pay for the couples trip that we all went on? Because right now there's been a massive fallout, and right now I don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So I went on a trip with my boyfriend and his friend along with his fiance. This whole thing happened last weekend, and the fallout is still active. I was told the fiance planned the cabin trip, and this was my first time meeting her, so upon meeting her, I said thanks for planning everything. The cabin was so beautiful, it was a great location, the amenities were amazing, so it was a great choice on her part. I'm gushing over her planning skills, and I was asking for tips, as I'm in charge of planning a trip with my boyfriend in 5 weeks. The fiance casually mentions the price of the cabin, and that it was a steal, and that I'm sure I'm glad it was so cheap split 4 ways. Well, I told her it didn't make any difference as I wasn't paying anyways. She then got quiet when I said that for a few minutes, but we resumed the good vibe, so I didn't think anything of it. The whole weekend she's giving her fiance the cold shoulder, according to my boyfriend, and it turns into us 3 versus the friend, since she was hanging out with me most of the trip and my boyfriend liked to be under me too. Like, it was so bad that she'd sit with us on the sofa and make the fiance sit by himself in the recliner chair. Every time I went to the hot tub, she went. Or if we wanted to go on a morning walk, she would come too without waking her fiance. I didn't notice anything weird since this is my first time meeting and interacting with them, so I didn't understand how their relationship works. I just thought that maybe they're not affectionate. Fast forward to today, and my boyfriend gets a call from his friend pissed off that I told his fiance that I didn't pay anything. This apparently ruined his trip, as his fiance felt, and said this in private to him, that she felt embarrassed to sleep with him or be affectionate with him in front of us since I'm so well taken care of by my partner, and she doesn't feel the same. same. My boyfriend was in shock and is mostly a listener, so he didn't really defend me, but said to keep the peace, and he'll ask that I no longer discuss finances with his fiancé. Now, I said okay, but I'm still wondering if I was the jerk for mentioning it on the trip. Everyone had already paid. We were already there to have a good time, so maybe I should have just focused on that instead of who paid for what. So honestly, am I the jerk in this situation? Because right now, I seriously don't know what to do. Honestly, I don't think you did anything wrong here. Like, this really is not that big of a deal, because this other lady is acting super weird. Like, seriously, it's not that big of a deal. So what if you didn't pay yourself? Just because your boyfriend took care of things doesn't mean that her fiancé is somehow incompetent. So no, I don't think you're the jerk for saying that, because honestly, it really was an innocent comment. My aunt is incredibly jealous of me, and despite finding this amusing early on, I'm now getting increasingly annoyed, and at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So one of my aunts seems to be jealous of me, and this is starting to get kind of annoying. This aunt of mine has never done anything in 40 years. She has studied economy at university for like 10 years, and she always says that she doesn't manage to find a job. She doesn't know how to properly cook, and there isn't a single field where she is good at. 2 months ago, thanks to an Italian government project, I managed to go to Ireland and work for nearly a month, which she was clearly jealous of. And you know, some years ago, I was like the loser of the family. I had no friends, I was never going out, and I also didn't like my body at all. But ever since 2 years ago, I've started to change, and now both my personality and my physique is very different. 2 years ago, I would not have had the courage to go for a month in another country. At first, I liked her clear jealousy, but now she is just annoying. Yesterday, she told me like 5 times that she doesn't like my hair, and it's like, who cares? Now, luckily, my 11-year-old cousin, who is her son, stepped in and said, well, I think your hair is cool. But despite my personality change, my self-esteem still relies on a lot of other people's opinions. So her comment has kind of made me sad, and I don't want to be sad because of a 40-year-old loser. So is it a common thing that your relatives are jealous of you? What should I do? Oh wow, that's really annoying. Like seriously, the fact that she's so openly jealous of you and treats you with such disdain, that in my opinion is super frustrating. I know for me personally, I like to just do my thing and not like brag or anything like that, and it sounds like you might be the same type of person. Like you're not going around flaunting all the good things you have in your life, and you just kind of like live your life and do your own thing. So the fact that your aunt is like up in your business and being like, oh wow, look at you, you're going to Ireland, I can't believe you. Like that does sound super annoying, and I don't blame you for getting frustrated. So I know if I was in your shoes, I would just completely ignore her and keep moving forward. She's clearly bitter because her life has led to nothing for her, and that at the end of the day is absolutely not your problem. This next one came from the Am I the Jerk subreddit. Check the links in the description if you would like to submit your own story. Am I the jerk for letting my ex-girlfriend spend the night, all without telling my current girlfriend what was happening? Because right now, my girlfriend is very pissed off at me, and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. I'm a 26-year-old male, and I'm in hot water with my girlfriend. We've been together for about 2 years, and she's been good for me and helps me get out of my own way. We usually can communicate through issues, except for my ex with whom I have a child. My ex is our constant fight. My girlfriend and daughter get along fine, but not her and my ex. They've never had an easy relationship. Their first meeting didn't go well, and it was downhill between them from that point on. My ex and I were in the same friend group and dated throughout high school. Our relationship isn't perfect, but we are in a way better place, and we have found a groove that works for us co-parenting. Now, it's a routine that I spend New Year's Eve with my ex. Our daughter always wants to watch the ball drop with both of us present. We take turns hosting, and this New Year's Eve was my turn. When I host, my girlfriend usually attends, but she was away visiting family. She invited me, but I chose to keep my arrangement with my daughter. We got drenched on New Year's Eve. The usual routine is that my ex or myself will head home sometime after the ball, but the rain was so bad. I wasn't comfortable sending my ex out, so I asked her to spend the night. Now, I tried telling my girlfriend, but I just couldn't reach her, and I now know that she had a spotty signal. Well, we didn't speak until the morning, and before I could say anything, she overheard my ex in the background with our daughter, and when she heard that, my girlfriend was pissed. I asked to discuss it later, since I didn't think it was best to talk about it in front of my daughter. Well, when I said that, she hung up on me. When we finally talked again, we argued. She felt it was inappropriate for my ex to have stayed over and accused me of bailing on visiting her family so I could be with my ex instead. But here's the thing, nothing happened. We hung out with our daughter for a while after the ball. Then I went to my room and my ex to our daughter's. My girlfriend said I set the scene for something to happen, and for all she knows, my ex came to my room after our daughter went to bed. She asked me how I would feel if she had an ex stay over, but I don't think that's a fair comparison. The circumstances are different. This isn't as black and white. I told her that I love and respect her, but I wasn't going to send the mother of my child out in a rainstorm. She then said that she wished that I chose her like I choose my ex. We're now left at an impasse. I feel my girlfriend's too biased to see anything clearly past my ex, as she feels that my ex doesn't respect our relationship and oversteps her boundaries. Now, I have never seen her this upset where we couldn't talk, and it's making me second guess how I handle things. So truly, am I the jerk for asking my ex to spend the night? Because right now, I don't know what to do. Okay, yeah, you're absolutely the jerk. This is so uncalled for, it's not even funny. Like, this is just a rainstorm. You know she can drive in the rain, right? It is wildly inappropriate for you to be like, oh, you can sleep at our house if you want. It's like, what are you doing, man? Get her out of there. Because your girlfriend is 100% right. You literally chose your ex over your own girlfriend. Like, seriously, what are you doing here? That is so dumb, and in my opinion, your girlfriend is absolutely justified to be angry. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some chill music to put on in the background, check out easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk, subscribe to Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked down below in the description.